everyone, I'm Leanne.
And I'm Mike, mixed up in the shaping.
And this is Unschooled History. This week, we are talking about jigsaw puzzles. It's a subject with a bit of an edge to it.
Now you got me puzzled.
This is the first ever jigsaw puzzle. Europe divided into its kingdoms. It was created by an engraver and cartographer named John Spilsbury, who called it a dissected map. And that's the name that it kept for a very, very long time, because that's basically what it was. He created it as an educational aid for children to help teach geography, and that remained its main purpose.
I've worked with dissected maps before as a kid.
Were you good at them?
So-so.
So.
Don't want to toot my own horn, but I love them.
Of course you did. I'm not surprised. Because you and I are both major geography geeks in addition to being major history geeks. So that's not a surprise at all. But I never had the dissected maps as a kid. I had those funky, cheap puzzles, kitty puzzles that you get at the dollar store or at Walmart or whatever, that showed like the kitty cats or the farm animals. You know, the stuff that they make for preschoolers and kindergartners.
These were educational ones that I had.
Yeah. Mine weren't so educational. I mean, and you know what? I kind of just got bored with them by about the same time I started reading Shakespeare.
Well, when you had a mother who's a teacher, you're going to learn things. Educational things are going to be right up on your list.
And it sounds bad that I say that I got bored with them by about the time I started reading Shakespeare, because most people don't even touch Shakespeare until like high school. But I read Romeo and Juliet in first grade, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got bored with the kitty puzzles early. Probably because I was too busy helping my grandparents with bigger and better puzzles that were more complicated and therefore more mentally stimulating. But yes, this is what the first jigsaw puzzle looked like, and you can see some of the different kingdoms are not available in here. Corsica is missing. I think it's Corsica. Scotland is missing. Belgium is missing. And I'm not sure what that piece is south of England that's missing. I'm not sure.
Neither am I.
I don't know. Because I don't remember anything in the English Channel, unless it's the Channel Islands. But that would be a part of the United Kingdom.
This is the old Isle of Man and everything.
Well, yeah, because, I mean,
the
you
Manx
had...
Empire.
Yeah. Definitely a possibility. So we call them jigsaw puzzles today, but these early dissections were actually mounted on hardwood and cut apart with a marquetry saw, like one of these. Woodworkers will recognize the left one as a fret saw and the right one as a scroll saw. These are antiques, so the basic design, especially of the fret saw, has not changed much over the years. In fact, they're still not cut using jigsaws, but somehow in the 1880s, despite being cut primarily with fret saws at the time, the name jigsaw puzzle stuck. So they've never actually been cut with a jigsaw. But they're still called jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
Of course, today they're cut with lasers, primarily. Although there are still some people who do cut them by hand.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
very much so. And some of them are very intricate and beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, honey, I cut you off on the last slide. What were you saying?
Speaking of making puzzles, our nephew made a puzzle in his high school. I think it was his shop class or art class. I don't remember
A
which.
shop class.
But he made a beautiful puzzle, which is a bear to put together. But it is excellent.
And it's not really a jigsaw puzzle, it's a brain teaser. And it's one of those it's one of those impossible cubes, right? Is that
Yeah,
what it was? Yeah, it is one of those cubes that you have to put together,
but they still teach them how to make puzzles of various types in schools.
which is just really, really cool. Like I said, they remained educational tools for the first few centuries. The first one was made in the 1760s, and then in the early 20th century, it finally became more than just an educational tool. But they were still seen as a toy for the wealthy. A 500-piece puzzle in 1908, like this one, could cost $5 at a time when the average salary for a worker was around $50 a month. So it was considered quite expensive. This is likely a children's jigsaw puzzle, as puzzles were often cut along color lines and had no guide on the box. And by cutting it along color lines, you had no way of comparing it to other pieces, like, oh, this is mostly red, but it's got a bit of really dark brown on it, so it must be that bit at the top of the skirt along the door, or it's red, but it's also got gray on it, so it must be lower part of the skirt with the wall, or whatever. So this was more likely a child's puzzle. It was during the Great Depression that jigsaw puzzles really took off. In fact, Parker Brothers alone was selling 10 million jigsaw puzzles a week. And there are multiple reasons for this. For starters, Parker Brothers was hiring women who they could pay less, but also partially because women already knew how to sew, and the treadle powered saws in use at the time were similar to the treadle powered sewing machines that women were using at home. And since they could pay the women less, then they could charge less for the puzzles. Second, they went from being on solid wood to being on cardboard or paperboard like they are today. Third, in a time when unemployment was at an exceptionally high rate, jigsaw puzzles could provide a family with an income. For approximately $20, you could buy a scroll saw and set it up in your kitchen or basement, then sell the puzzles you made throughout the community, or rent them out through the local general store or library. And these general stores and libraries would often rent out these puzzles for 5 cents a day, which is really cheap, but today you
Somebody,
wouldn't have that. Today everything's free at the library for the most part, except
yeah,
for certain things like 3D printing, because that's
yeah,
still so new.
yeah. But even then, back then, that little nickel was worth so much more.
It was. And of course, the general store that was renting it out, or the library that was renting out, would. The library would buy it and use the funds from renting it out. The general store would rent it out on behalf of the maker and split the proceeds with the maker. And examples include this beautiful hand cut piece from 1933. It has been fully restored. It's gorgeous, and as you can see, it is from a classical piece of art.
Yes,
After World War II, jigsaw puzzles they kind of just went out of style again. Largely because salaries were going up, driving up prices of wooden puzzles, which were expensive to make, though die-cut cardboard puzzles were becoming more efficiently made. Then the company Springbok started selling reproductions of fine art as jigsaw puzzles, and in 1965, hundreds of thousands of people struggled with this one, Jackson Pollock's Convergence, billed at the time as the world's most difficult puzzle. And it's still considered to be a very high difficulty level. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, it'd be one for causing a few headaches.
It would definitely fall under the category of impossible puzzles, which we'll uh, talk about a little more here in a minute. So these are two more examples of the impossible puzzle that we were talking about. The one on the left is a optical illusion one, and it kind of plays with your eyes a bit, which makes it even harder. I've seen ones that are all one color. I have seen ones that don't have real edges, or they have false edges and false corners, which makes it even harder. And y'all are not seeing things. The one on the right is in 3 layers. It is a cross between the impossible puzzle and the 3D puzzle, and you have to assemble it in layers to get it right. So it's kind of interesting. Okay, you were saying?
I've also seen some puzzles based on Escher's artworks, which, though they're not truly impossible puzzles, they are quite daunting.
You can't do a 3D puzzle out of them.
No, these 3D puzzles, like pictured here on this one, I've seen some which I really love, like Big Ben, or actually the Queen's Tower,
It's called the Elizabeth Tower.
Elizabeth Tower. Um,
Big Ben, of course, is the name of the bell inside.
I believe they've had one of Notre Dame.
Yes. I've seen one from before 9/11 2001 of the Twin Towers. I've seen Buckingham Palace. And of course, this one. Oh, I saw a Coke can one the other day.
I've seen one of those before.
Michael loves Coke products.
I if anybody's ever seen one, let me know. But I've heard rumors of one of St. Peter's Basilica.
I've never seen it. We'll have to find out if we can find one.
I've never seen it. I've only heard rumors of it being existing.
Well, this one, like I said, is the Millennium Falcon. It was my first and only Puzz 3D puzzle because it is. Okay, so these things were invented by Paul Gallant back in 1991, and the company Puzz 3D produced a lot of different designs. I had this one back in high school because I was a huge Star Wars geek. I was kind of known as a Star Wars girl back in high school. And my grandfather tried to help me put together. It says super challenging on the box, and it wasn't kidding. Grandpa and I both threw up our hands at various points, but it did eventually get finished, if for no reason other than that Grandpa wanted to finally clear off his card table for another puzzle, but also it kind of became a point of pride with him to finish the stupid thing. And I was just as stubborn as he was about it. It's like, we're going to get this thing done no matter what. And we did eventually get it done. And it was cool, but then we just kind of took it apart and never touched it again. And I have no clue what happened to it to this day. I really don't. But, stuff happens.
One I would have liked to have seen was the London Bridge one. Also,
Oh, that one would be cool.
I've seen the box for it. I've heard it was a bear to put together. The Tower Bridge, rather.
Yeah, I've never seen the Tower Bridge one. Okay, so this is another cool innovation in jigsaw puzzles. Around since 1997, Wasgij puzzles are put together the same way as traditional jigsaw puzzles. And in fact, it is just jigsaw spelled backwards. But there's a twist. These the picture that you see on the box is not what the finished puzzle looks like. Instead, these puzzles require you to use your imagination. There are 4 different concepts being produced right now. In the original one, you have to put yourself in the place of one of the characters in the puzzle and put together the view that the character is seeing. In the Destiny concept, you have to imagine what the scene would look like in the modern day. The mystery concept makes you imagine what will happen in the next few minutes, and the Christmas concept one is basically the original concept but Christmas themed. There are also 2 Wasgij concepts not currently in production. One is the Imagine concept, which asks the puzzler to imagine what the characters would look like in real life, and the Back to concept asks you to imagine what the characters would have looked like in years gone by. So, as you can see, what's on the box is completely different from the finished puzzle, and that makes it a lot more challenging. But I wouldn't mind trying it. And there's one weird connection between Wasgij puzzles and impossible puzzles. And it's only in my family that this connection exists. It is that I have asked my grandmother if she would like one of both types, and both times she has threatened to disown me if I ever got her one. Jokingly, of course. Grandma only ever says that jokingly. I'm lucky that she has a great sense of humor. I love her for it. Not so jokingly, but she's not joking around about haunting whoever brings daisies to her funeral. I think everybody in my family knows that. But we're all planning on doing it anyway. But yeah, they're difficult. They're not as difficult as the impossible puzzle, but they're difficult. And at least, unlike the impossible puzzle, was jig or
Wasgij.
Wasgij puzzles. I can talk, I swear. Wasgij puzzles actually come with 2 hints. So that can help you figure out, okay, this is what's going on. Today, of course, there are many different puzzle designs. You can get puzzles with your favorite animals or flowers, perhaps a piece of classical art. You can get a custom puzzle made from one of your photographs. You can get some glittery, metallic finishes, one that you can color after you get them put together. There are smaller ones for children and larger ones with thousands of pieces. There are family puzzles with 3 different puzzle sizes, or with 3 different puzzle piece sizes, so that the whole family can put them together. And in fact, this is the world's largest jigsaw puzzle. As you can see, it's titled Travel Around the by Art and measures 28.35 feet by 6.69 feet. The puzzle is the current record holder as of August 27th, 2020. Yeah, this thing was released to the public on my birthday. Awesome. And I kind of want it, but we can't afford it.
Yeah.
It actually sold out really fast, and again, and then again. And the upload date for this video is only a week and a half after the puzzle's release, and it's already sold out multiple times, despite its price. So it's made by the French company Graphica, and this puzzle numbers in at 54,000 pieces. This breaks the previous record, which had broken Graphica's previous record of 48,000. So Graphica held the record at 48,000. Another company came along and broke it, and Graphica says we can do even better. Here's one at 54,000 pieces. I couldn't find any US distributors. Not a one. Graphica does not sell in the US, but you can order through European sellers. It runs at 499 euros, which is nearly 600 US dollars. And considering the size and how much it would cost to ship something that big, it's not a surprise. And with it, you don't get just the puzzle and the massive box that would be used to contain it. You also get a suitcase. A real suitcase. And it's a roller suitcase. It's meant for use for as a carry-on. It'll fit in the overhead bin. It fits all major airlines baggage restrictions for carry-on.
Okay.
And it's a hard case suitcase with wheels and handle, and it's kind of plain looking, but it's a well-made one. So you get a well-made suitcase along with the puzzle, which is really cool. And they do that because Graphica wants to encourage everyone to travel the world and see all of these works of art that are depicted in the puzzle. They want us to see them in real life, and these are museums around the world. So I think it's really cool that Graphica does that.
Yeah.
And that they encourage travel and learning and stuff like that. That's a really cool company. Now, you've completed your puzzle. Now what? Well, the easy thing to do is tear it apart, put it back in the box, and put it away to either solve again later or maybe sell at your next yard sale. But what if you want to save it? Or what if you don't have enough room to have the puzzle on your table all the time? There are solutions. That is what various puzzle accessories are for. You can absolutely glue your puzzle together. You can use a wet glue or a powdered glue that you have to mix with water, or you can use puzzle glue sheets like the ones pictured top left. And the gluing process is fairly simple. You use the liquid glue or the powder or the sheets or Mod Podge, but it's best to use a glue from the same manufacturer as the puzzle because they understand what their puzzle needs and chemical reactions and everything. Because it's going to be the same glue that was used to glue the image onto the cardboard in the first place. And if so you can do that. And also, never use a liquid glue on a puzzle with a metallic glitter or other glossy or high quality finish. Instead, use the sheets that can be applied to the back of the puzzle and they are different from the glue sheets that you see here, but they do exist and they're really cool because they have no bubbles. They're easy to apply. It's just difficult to turn that puzzle upside down. Once the puzzle is dry, if it's caused the edges to curl up, you can press it under any heavy flat object larger than the puzzle, and after about a day it will flatten out. Alternatively, you can apply glue to the back and the drying of it should flatten out the edges correctly. You can then frame your puzzle with an inexpensive frame like the one at top center, or even have it custom framed. There are plenty of places out there that do it. Michaels does it. Hobby Lobby does it. Uh, Ben Franklin does it.
Yeah.
That's where my grandmother prefers to go have custom frame work done. My grandmother's got her preferences. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
And after you've framed it, you can hang it up. If you own your home, you can absolutely use a nail if you want to. But if you don't want to put a nail in your wall, or if you are renting and you cannot use nails or thumbtacks, of course there's the 3M strips and stuff like that out there that you can use.
And there's supposedly stuff called alien tape that's supposed to be good, but we have not tested this product ourselves.
No, and we won't recommend anything that we have not tested ourselves. So, we're just saying, hey, this is what's out there. Make up your own mind about whether or not you want to try it. And then for storage, you can use a sort and store kit like the one you see in the top right corner. I've seen one that is Mickey Mouse ears, which is cool. So and of course these are puzzle piece shaped. For storage and even travel with an in-progress puzzle, there are special mats. Bottom left shows a folding type with a handle that is great for travel because it zips up and then you can carry it. Bottom right shows a rolling mat. It's better for storing in-progress puzzles at home so that you can clear off table space as needed. Either way, the pieces stay in place and it's a worry-free process.
Yes.
And they're really cool. They can be a little on the expensive side. The folding mat that zips up with the handle that I've got shown here is $75. But if you like to travel with puzzles a lot, I think it's a good investment.
Yeah.
I don't know who travels with puzzles a lot. I usually travel with my writing materials. But you know what? Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
There are some people who travel for, I guess they're jigsaw tournaments.
I'm not sure.
There probably are. There's tournaments for everything else. And there are people who just like to have jigsaw puzzles with them wherever they go. So, yeah, there it is. And a lot of these can hold up to 1,000 pieces. Puzzles are so pervasive in our life that, yeah, they're used as symbols. As you can see, we've got the Wikipedia logo up here. It symbolizes that it is a puzzle globe with the W or the first letter or the first symbol for the word Wikipedia in each language, or at least in multiple languages. And it's supposed to symbolize that it encompasses the knowledge of the world and stores the knowledge of the world, but it's not complete and never will be complete. Because gathering of knowledge is an ongoing process because we're always learning and discovering new things. And as a species, we humans are always creating new things. It is also used, the jigsaw puzzle piece awareness ribbon is the most common and most well known symbol for autism awareness
Yes.
because autism is often seen as puzzling and complicated. It's long been used by the organization Autism Speaks, but autism activists oppose it. One, they don't like Autism Speaks because it's it's complicated.
Yeah, it is.
But basically, the Autism Speaks doesn't actually have any autism specialists on its board. Nobody who actually has any experience with autism, no parents, no people with autism are part of the board of directors or anything. But also because metaphors of autism as puzzling and incomplete can actually do more harm than good for those of us who have autism. I'm actually high functioning. I have Asperger's. I have another friend with Asperger's. I know that there are plenty of people out there with autism. And, we know a lot more about it than we used to, but we still don't know as much as we could.
No.
So, the Autism Journal has actually removed the puzzle piece awareness ribbon from its cover because autism activists don't like it. And then it's also a common symbol in a dream.
Yes.
A jigsaw puzzle in your dream can indicate that there's something you're working on, some problem in your waking life that you're trying to solve. And if there are missing pieces to the puzzle in your dream, it means that you don't have all the facts needed to solve the problem in your waking life. At least that's what the dream dictionary I looked up said.
Yeah.
Jigsaw puzzles can be so relaxing, and it's something that can easily be passed down through the generations. It can be education, entertainment, or both, and these really are a great part of our culture.
Yes, they are.
As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already liked our Facebook page, please do it. You're going to get a daily history fact. You're going to get a creepy Friday fact every Friday. That's where we do our live episodes. And that's also where the funniest history memes go. Because let's face it, we like funny. So, yeah, make sure that you like it. Make sure that the Facebook page, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's all we ask. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to drop them below or on our Facebook page. And also, if you have anything that you want to know more about as far as the subject of history goes, please do not be afraid to say, hey, Unschooled History, please, 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 can I get something on XYZ topic? Because because we've only been doing this since around Easter, and yet we already get so many fan requests, usually through the Facebook page. So, Yeah, there you go.
And we are willing to do most any topic within reason.
I mean, there are a few topics we want to save for certain times of year.
Yeah.
We've had a fan request for a history of witchcraft. We're saving that for Halloween. So, yeah, the Tuesday before Halloween, you're going to get something on witchcraft. It'll be awesome. But again, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you next week.
Good evening.